Here's a beautifully restored 1907 Multiphone, and this will be a two-part series, first explaining how the phonograph operates through its record playing cycle, and then we will proceed to play a record on it and have it go through its record playing cycle. First of all, the unit starts with the reproducer and reproducer carriage at the end of the feed screw. Having played the prior record, it ends at the end of the preceding record. Now the half nut, which is this unit here, is still engaged in the feed screw, and the feed screw has two threads, one fine thread and one coarse thread. The fine thread is 20 threads per inch, and the coarse thread, which reverses through the feed screw to allow the carriage to return to the beginning of the record, is a 1.5 thread per inch coarse thread. And what happens is when you put the nickel in the slot, the nickel engages the coin spoon, which in turn, through a series of levers and rods, lifts a little device up which then starts the motor. It releases the motor, and of course then there's a long, very long rubber belt that comes up from the motor and goes around a pulley, and then that in turn not only drives the feed screw but also the record as well. And when the reproducer carriage goes to the beginning and starts, as it plays, it will play through a record, and then at the end of the record we'll engage this rod with a couple of stop nuts on it. Those are also adjustable, and then that is attached to a large lever which goes down to the bottom of the machine, releasing another lever which is right in here. That in turn ejects the coin spoon in the up position and shuts the machine off. There's a interesting record brush that keeps the dust off the records as they play. It's a gilder's tick, and it's a very fine brush keeping the dust off. And another interesting feature is as this starts to play and the carriage returns back to the beginning, there's a chain here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this chain is attached to a lever in back, and that lever advances the carriage forward one notch. If you notice, the arrow, the indicator arrow, which points to the selection, is not exactly at 12 o'clock, and that's intentional and that's purposeful, because as it's starting to play, it pulls the record that you have selected into the playing position, into this position, and then it will proceed to play through the record. But let's see, is there any other features here? Also, this feature, which is a sliding device, raises and lowers the reproducer weight, which is right here. And there's a little extension off the reproducer carriage which engages this and pushes a slide rod back and forth. Another feature is this little sliding cam, which gently lowers the reproducer weight down onto the record as it's proceeding forward in the feed screw. This unit here is the drive wheel, and that goes back to the pulley, which goes down to the motor. So I think that pretty much explains it. This particular machine is fully mechanical. There is no electricity in this machine at all operating, no electrical motors. It uses a three-spring wind-up motor, which is very similar to an Edison Triumph. And that three-spring motor operates the entire machine, plays the record as well as advancing the carousel of 24 records. And if you didn't select, it would just continue to advance it to the next one. So you have the option at the beginning of selecting a record or just letting it advance to the next selection. That ends part one. In part two, we'll go through the play procedure.